Hey everybody, I just got done watching another movie in theaters, and this time it was Backrooms. So this movie, I mentioned this in a previous video where I did a movie review, but excuse me. Since I moved to a place that doesn't have a movie theater, I have to drive to a connecting city to go to the movies. And so because it's a little more gas, compared to before the move where I was basically seeing everything in theaters, now I have to really pick and choose what I really want to see in theaters. So Backrooms was not originally one of those movies that I just had to see in theaters. In fact, I never even had seen a trailer for the movie before going to see it tonight. But what piqued my interest for going to see Backrooms, one of the guys that I work with, he was making, what's the word? The right word's not basic conversation. There's a different word for it. I can't think of the right word for it. But anyways, he was making conversation, and he asked if I had seen any good movies lately, and I told him whatever I saw recently, and he said that he had recently watched Backrooms. He watched it around when it got released on May 29th. And he said that the movie was awesome. I had never had a conversation with him before about movies, so I don't really completely know what his taste is in movies, but he told me this movie was awesome. So I was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe I'll check it out. All right. So sometime after he told me this movie was awesome, I saw somewhere online, in social media or something, there was an article that was comparing Backrooms side by side with Obsession. And with Obsession, I already did a movie review on Obsession, and I ended up giving that film 4.5 stars, 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. And Obsession was really good. And so the fact that somebody I worked with said that this movie was awesome, and there was an article comparing Backrooms with Obsession, I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I'll definitely watch this movie now. So I did tonight. I watched Backrooms. So you got that long intro there for Backrooms. This movie, it is strange. It is weird. It is creepy. And those are definitely things that I like in movies, that I enjoy movies when they have strange, weird, creepy things. This movie has all of that. I could see why they might compare it with, or put it side by side with Obsession. They are two completely different movies. But online classifies Backrooms as a sci-fi horror. I could see moments where it's kind of horror. I could kind of see why they might put sci-fi with it. But basically, these characters end up in going through an invisible door. It just looks like part of the wall, but they go through an invisible door that takes them into literally like what the title says, back rooms. But it's just it's like a really big maze, and you don't know what you're gonna get yourself into. But this background here, that's like the beginning of it when you first go through the invisible door. But there's so many twists and turns in this back room, and some things that are, like I've said already, strange, weird, and creepy. But there are moments in this movie that kind of, I don't know, they kind of make my mind drift away from the movie. These moments that are, in my opinion, aren't necessarily as interesting. Like, you know, I was definitely interested in seeing what all took place in these back rooms. The ending was okay. I thought the ending could have been a little bit better. They could have... I like what they were trying to do with the ending, but I thought that they could have done more with the way they ended it, in a way that would have made it even better. But overall, I give Backrooms 4 stars, a solid 4 stars. That being said, I do think Obsession is the better movie than Backrooms. I'm not completely sure why they put the two movies side by side. Like I said, they're two completely different movies. Maybe because I didn't actually read the article, maybe part of it has to do with how the box office did with the movies, and maybe they both did very well in a similar way. But either way, Obsession is definitely the better film than Backrooms, because I gave Obsession a 4.5 stars, where Backrooms is getting a solid 4 stars from me. But until my next video, on